What's up in there, guys? Brian here, the 3 Topics Gamer, and I have an interesting, somewhat top 10, or technically it's top 5 list for you to share with you guys today. Now, for me, 2024 was a rather unusual year for gaming, but kind of looking at the slate of games for 2025, I think we're in for a rebound year, and there's a lot of games that I'm really looking forward to playing this year, and I just wanted to pick out what are my personal top 5 most anticipated games of 2025. Now, if you do happen to enjoy my list by the end, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to track me on my future videos. And remember, if you guys have any ideas for any rankings, top list videos, discussion videos, or just any type of videos you'd like to see in general, please let me know what your idea you would like to see in the comments down below, and I will try to get it up as soon as I can. So, without wasting any more time, I'm going to start off with what is my 5th most anticipated game of 2025. And I'll see you guys at the end. Taking number 5 spot on my list is going to have to go to Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, look, I don't really care about the controversy. I don't care about any of that. And heck, I don't even mind that this game has actually had its release date pushed back 2 times. All I care about is that we are finally getting an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan, and I have been screaming that we should have gotten that like for the last 10 years. Now, I've openly said that I don't think any era would be more perfectly suited for an Assassin's Creed game than feudal Japan, and now we are finally getting it. On top of that, I actually haven't really enjoyed the last couple of Assassin's Creed games in the forms of Valhalla and Mirage. I haven't actually enjoyed an Assassin's Creed game since Odyssey and Origins, and if what my theory about how the gameplay for this game is going to work out, in the sense that if you play as the ninja, it's going to feel more old school in terms of the style of like the Altair, Ezio, Connor, and Kenway, and Edward Kenway era, and that's perfectly fine. And if you're playing as the samurai, it'll feel more like the, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla era. Now, if they can blend those 2 different styles with just a good story, then I'm all for it. Now, I'm not looking for this game for historical accuracy. I love Japanese culture, but heck, for a video game, at the end of the day, I just want a solid story and a game that is fun to play. If this game can give me that, then heck, I will openly admit that this game has the potential to actually, in my eyes, outdo Assassin's Creed 4 as being my new favorite Assassin's Creed game of all time. But heck, once this game comes out and I get my hands on it, heck, we can all judge for ourselves and see if it's a good time. But heck, I have hopes that this game will pull it off. But heck, that's why it's number 5 on my list. Taking a number 4 spot on my list is going to have to go to Phantom Blade Zero. Now, having just watched the most recent gameplay trailer that they released, I have to say I'm extremely impressed from everything I've seen from this game. Looking at its gameplay style and its just overall aesthetic and its presentation, this game feels very, very similar to something like Devil May Cry 5 or something like Metal Gear Rising. And that's kind of crazy in the sense that Devil May Cry 5 actually came out in 2019, so it will have been about 6 years since we've had one of these fast-paced action-adventure hack-and-slash titles that's going to probably have a very, very high requirement in terms of reaction times, because just looking at this news gameplay, it looks absolutely insane. The visuals look absolutely impressive. I love the art style that they're going with. The music that they played for the trailer was just absolutely heart-pounding, and I think this is just going to be easily one of the best games that comes out in 2025. Possibly a contender for Game of the Year, and something about it kind of reminds me a little bit of Black Myth Wukong, except instead of having like a Souls type of presence, it's going to feel just much more straightforward action adventure hack and slash, and I think that's something that I'm always up for playing, so that's why I'm really excited to get my hands on this when it comes out later this year in 2025, which is why it takes the number 4 spot on my list. Taking number 3 spot on my list is going to have to go to Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Now, unlike a lot of people, I actually liked the first Death Stranding game. I didn't love it, but I think that for Kojima's first game after leaving Metal Gear, I think it was a first good step in terms of the direction that he wanted to go with his next franchise. I think the story was definitely very Hideo Kojima-ish. My biggest problem with it was that I think the gameplay took a bit too long to actually get going, but I think once the game did start getting going, that's when it really started getting good. So I'm hoping this time around Hideo Kojima certainly has the pace of the game move a little bit quicker. I hope he adds a number of obviously great functions. I'm sure it's going to have a pretty phenomenal story. I'm sure the cast is going to do absolutely wonderful with their performances, and overall I just hope that this game is a lot more open to a much wider audience. I think the first game would really only work if you are a fan of Kojima's works, but I hope that this next game brings in more people and is much more inviting and something that is, in my opinion, a lot more fun and just has a much more faster pace while also keeping that Hideo Kojima-like charm that makes it something that you're going to remember long after you finish the game. But other than that, yeah, this is going to be hopefully a great game to play out when it comes out later this year, and that's why it's taking the number 3 spot on my list. Taking number 2 spot on my list is going to have to go to Ghost of Yotei. Now, I absolutely loved playing Ghost of Tsushima. It was easily, in my opinion, the last of the truly great PlayStation 4 games that came out at its time, and I easily replayed it again when it was re-released for the PlayStation 5. I thought its story was absolutely incredible. The gameplay was magnificent. The map was a massive size. It had a great story, and it even had some really awesome DLC. So I'm really hoping with the sequel now taking place a while after the first game with an entirely new protagonist, we can explore a completely different area of Japan. Hopefully the gameplay has been improved upon. I hope the story is very, very forward. And despite its controversy, I highly doubt that Sucker Punch would want to make a game that kind of goes against the greatness of the first game. So despite all the controversy that's surrounding this game, I think we need to wait until we get our hands on this game and then judge it for ourselves when we actually start playing it. And that has been my mentality for a lot of these more controversial games that have been released or kind of announced over the past, I'd say, year or so. So again, Ghost of Yotei looks great. Looks like it's going to be a fun game. I look forward to playing it, and it's going to take number 2 spot on my list. Taking the number 1 spot on my list without question, my most anticipated game of 2025 is going to have to go to Doom: The Dark Ages. Now, outside of, I'd say, some of the later Call of Duty games and the Halo franchise, the Doom franchise is easily one of the greatest first-person shooter franchises that's been around since all the way back in the 90s. And I think it's never been better than it has been over the last 2 installments in the form of 2016 Doom and Doom Eternal, its sequel. Now, cool enough, this game is actually going to serve as a prequel in terms of its story, actually showing the rise of the Doom Slayer before he becomes the man of legend and the last hope of humanity. Now, everything about this game just screams total badassness. I love the environment that we were set up in. The weapons look incredible. The music is gonna be fast-paced, heart-pounding, absolutely intense, filled with the environment. The enemy variety already looks cool. Just playing through this game is just gonna be like going at like 100 miles an hour, just being a total badass using a completely unquestionable total awesome collection of weapons, because that is one thing that the Doom franchise has never been shot. It has always had a awesome collection of weapons, and just being able to move at a fast pace and kill these enemies that are coming at you at all kind of directions and just never stop moving makes Doom easily one of the best first-person shooter franchises of all time, probably the fastest moving one that I've played in a very long time, and I just cannot wait to get my hand on this. This very much has a high probability of actually becoming my personal game of the year, and that's why my anticipation and hopes for this game are through the roof, which is why it is without question my most anticipated game of 2025. And that does it for my top 5 most anticipated games of 2025. And I must say myself, I do think, in my personal opinion, this is a pretty impressive list. And now that you guys know what my most anticipated games of this year, I would like to know what are the games that you are most looking forward to playing in 2025. Please share your list with me and everyone else in the comments down below. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.